personally, I've actually been able to grow in every way possible. And the way that I've been able to do that is by not looking in the past, but instead looking forward to the future. Almost being a little bit selfish in a sense to focus on me, what's best for me, but then also giving love and support to my friends and my family, showing up for them, showing up for me, believing and having faith that there is 100% light at the end of the tunnel. I've definitely been keeping healthy, eating healthy, taking care of my body by working out, meditating. I enjoy my outdoor activities, gardening, playing with my dog. I enjoy reading, still doing the things that fuel my soul, and to keep striving, pushing forward, and not exactly letting something that, even though it may be as big as a global issue or challenge, not letting that necessarily creep into me, because I have control over what I allow into my body and my space.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another beautiful episode of Happiness from Within. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule today to join us for this beautiful episode. I am beyond ecstatic for today's guest. I actually met this incredible young woman on Instagram. Her name's Kaelin. She actually has a really amazing podcast called Dear Lovely Universe. And she's actually here to share her story of overcoming a lot of deep stuff, such as suicide, probably a lot of things that you guys are feeling. So I actually have her here on the line. Hi, Kaelin. How are you?
Hi, Janet. I'm doing so great.
Beautiful. And so let's just go ahead and jump in. Where is it that you're from?
I'm from Los Angeles. Right now I'm living in Orange County, so California.
Oh, beautiful. And so take us back. Where did your spiritual journey begin?
Well, my dad has always been a pretty strong spiritual light in my life. So I'd always hear spiritual tidbits here and there, but I didn't really care too much or listen too much until I reached a absolute rock bottom when I was about 17. And it was like at this rock bottom that, I could go into like depth, but I was in so much pain that instead of blaming God, I decided like I had no other choice but to actually ask God for help. And I think it was at that moment that I started allowing spirituality into my life.
Oh, that's beautiful. And so take us back. What was it the first time that you had your first spiritual awakening? Was it something specific in your life that happened, or?
Yeah, well, in this particular moment of time, I had to leave everything that I was comfortable with, everything that I known, and step into a space that was really frightening for me. I felt that I really had to take control over my life now, independently. It was my first time like stepping out as really like a young woman. And so I remember I was sitting in my on my bed in my room, and I was crying. For me, it was crying. It was really painful crying. It was really gut-wrenching crying. Not almost not like hopeless, because I know that there was that, like, I still had faith that there was a better something out there. But for me, that spiritual awakening was really painful once I started opening up and allowing for God to help me in my life.
Okay, beautiful. And so you are a self-love coach, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, how long have you been doing that?
Well, I feel like this is actually something I've done my whole life. I've just naturally been a healer my whole life. And talking to people, I think talking and listening, really listening is my greatest talent. So I just feel like naturally as a healer, that's who we are. But I've actually just recently started stepping into the space as a professional coach, and I'm primarily focusing on self love because I believe that self love is the basis for really a quality life. I believe it really starts there.
Great. And so take us back. When did you start taking these steps to loving yourself? Like, was there a specific event in your life that, caused you not to love yourself?
Yeah, so to I'll start at where I began to not love myself. So when I was 3 months old, my mom abandoned me as a baby, and from that time on, I just felt in that I wasn't deserving of love in a way, and that led for a lifetime of well period of self-destructive behaviors. Um, I was addicted to drugs, alcohol, partying, just doing illegal things all the time. And I had no self respect. I was looking for outer validation constantly because there was nothing coming in from within. And so I didn't love myself at that time. And then it was at the time when I had my spiritual awakening around right after that time was when I started to meditate. I started to read. I started to actually connect with myself. I started going to the beach, connecting with nature, and actually putting my own self first. And I just absolutely started growing from that experience. And I think that was actually when I decided that I wanted to start a blog because I realized that if I could help myself, then I can share my experience to help other people help themselves.
Oh, that's beautiful. And how long have you been blogging?
Yeah, I started blogging a little over a year and a few months ago. I stopped blogging, I think probably about like 6 months ago. But yeah, that was kind of how I started getting into this whole online space.
That's beautiful. And for your just going back to I'm so sorry to hear that that your mom abandoned you. Somebody that's listening to this, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this because one in every three people on this planet go through something traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
And, you've taken that experience and you've blossomed into this amazing, beautiful young woman, on this mission to helping other people. And I just think it's amazing. And, here at Happiness from Within, our mission is to touch people's hearts and souls at a very deep level through interviews. A lot of my listeners that have been following me a long time, and for those that are new, thank you. It's really about digging deep, So, if you don't mind, I would really like to go deeper because let's really whatever you feel comfortable sharing, right? Like, so when this happened to you and you were going through life and all these different things, like what were some small steps that you were taking to start healing yourself?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I had to do was put the focus on the future because the
Mm.
past was just so painful that the only way forward was to actually focus on the future. So that was the first thing. And then I think the second thing was forgiveness. Forgiving and accepting what had happened and all the people involved to allow myself to to give myself that space and that peace to move on. I think acceptance was definitely a major factor in my growth and my healing, because if I had not been able to accept people for who they are and what had happened or things that they had done to me in the past or just circumstances that I was born into, I would be holding that grudge and putting my energy into that space, creating just more troubles in my life and that negative energy repeating itself. So I had to really accept and forgive everything that had ever happened to me. And along with those same lines, I actually became very grateful for all the experiences, because even though a lot of the experiences I've been through, such as, my mom leaving me as a baby or being taken advantage of when I was like 5 years old, and certain things that, people should just not have to go through, those experiences honestly, in a way, gave me a life purpose. It helped me grow so much as a person. It helped me, I had to lose myself to find myself. And now I'm able to help people find themselves. So even though it was just so horrible that these things happened, I'm grateful that it happened, because it made me into the person who I am today.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So I have another deep question for you. So I'm also a coach like yourself, and the question I have for you is this: a lot of the women that I coach, it's specifically helping them heal from trauma. And I have had a few clients that have had similar as you, their mom leaving them, even at different stages in their life, maybe not necessarily a baby, but this is the question that I have for you, because I just feel like this is such a deep question that's coming up. And this is in regards specifically to relationships with men. And this may or may not apply to you, but I've seen a pattern. And I just feel somebody listening to this right now is really going to resonate. This is the question. Have you ever felt a need to chase after men in the past?
I have definitely felt a need to want to heal and help men and take on the weight of their problems as my own. I actually just got out of a toxic relationship only recently, about 2 months ago. And I think as a person, as a soul that likes to help or is very passionate about helping people and has been abandoned in the past, we don't want to do that to other people, and we want to help them. So that is definitely something that I have experienced in my life.
Wow. I really appreciate you being so open. If you don't mind me adding, this was like 4 years ago, just to be totally completely raw and honest with you. I had an experience, I have a really amazing mom. There was a short part of my life I didn't have my mom, but again, just seeing these patterns, right? I've been working with a healer, and long story short, she said, for any of us that we're talking about specifically relationship with the mother, of gaps in our life, whether we didn't have her, had her, right? And there's this pattern of exactly what you were talking about, where we feel this need that we want to heal, right? The man, right? And she says that comes from, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is that obviously every situation is different, but just hear me out. That we find somebody, right, and we feel sort of like a sense of safety, right? Because we didn't have that safety with our mom. And the healer I was working with, when she told me that, I was like, whoa, that's so deep, right? And I know a lot of us as women, we go through that. And it's not whether it's right or wrong. It's just we're women, that's our nature, to give and want to help. And yeah, this was like 4 or 5 years ago. I remember this gentleman that I met, long story short, it was like you were saying, I felt like I wanted to heal him, right? And it took a lot to just come to a point where really learning to stand in our power, right? Healing ourselves. I think it's an ongoing thing, but really awareness, like you were talking about that earlier, right? Like really being aware, right? Is part of self-love. So I just really appreciate you sharing that, because as I was saying, there's a lot of women that I coach that this is something that comes up, and it's just a pattern that I see, and it's something that we're all working on. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that? Anything?
Definitely. You know, in that relationship, I was so miserable. I wanted so badly for everything to work out that I put everything else aside, my own life included, you know?
Wow.
And what I have to say for those people that might be experiencing something similar is that you don't need anyone else's permission to end that relationship. You only need to give yourself that permission, because I think as women, we just want to please everyone so bad that we forget to put ourselves first. It's personally been an amazing journey in these last 2 months, finding myself again and actually getting in touch with myself, having this time to myself to get to know me before I even jump into any other kind of relationship again. You know, like I said before, I had to find myself to lose myself. It's kind of again in this situation. And you know, if you're in a toxic relationship and you know that you can do better, or even if it's not entirely toxic, but you just know that you can do better, then that's exactly it. You can do better. Don't settle, because the perfect person is out there and meant for you.
That's deep. Yeah, just to add to what you're saying, it's interesting because as we're going through this healing journey, and I know you can relate to this, and any other woman listening to this, anybody listening to this, is that when you heal and you start to put back those pieces of your soul back together, your heart, things actually naturally start coming to you. You don't have to chase after them. Have you noticed that?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. When you start vibrating at a level that is self-care and appreciation and gratitude, you're attracting that kind of energy into your life. And then things that are meant for you come to you.
Absolutely. That's great. Have you noticed that in your business? Like, can you give an example? Maybe receiving a flow of clients?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
could be anything, abundance in any way, but.
Yeah, definitely. I actually, this might be related, not 100% sure, but one of the affirmations that I personally came up with and love to say is money comes to me like water in the shower, just abundantly and effortlessly and easily. And whenever I practice that, money comes to me just like rain, and it's amazing. So I have, I feel like, endless examples of manifestation that I could give, but just know that it's entirely real, and you can use it to create positive effects in your life, but it can also be used, you know, to manifest things that you might not 100% want in your life, but it will still help you grow. But so just try to take advantage of it in a way that is constructive and healthy for you to bring in what you want to bring in.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, can you hold on 1 second? I am so sorry. My neighbors are let me just close the window. Hold on, okay? Hold on. Sorry about that. Just having a little obstacle.
No worries.
Okay. All right. So, where were we at? We're talking about manifestation, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. So, my next question for you is, what does it look like living your highest self? How would you paint that picture?
Yeah, totally. So I just want to give an example.
Of
So
course, yeah.
when I wake up in the morning, before everything starts and I connect with myself, I say the words, I know just what to do today. And instantly it comes to me what I'm supposed to do that day in the perfect order. And so I think living in your highest self is something that we already know inside of us. It's already, we are our highest self, but there is just a little bit of a, I don't know exactly the perfect word, but a little bit of a gap from our physical self and our highest self. But our highest self is always still there. We are just aiming to grow into that highest self. And through these experiences that we have here on earth, that's helping us grow into our highest self. So I don't know if that 100% answers your question, but I think that for me personally, what's helped me start to unfold my power and step into that power and step into my higher self has been connecting with myself daily, connecting with God, and not being afraid, or in other words, being brave. Because bravery and doing what makes you scared, for me personally, sets my soul on fire. And it's breaking through those barriers is how you're going to grow.
That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
And so just kind of going back for a second. So your mom abandons you, right? Sorry, not to go back so far. And then so did you, what is it that happened? Like, my question is this. So you're going through life, like, what is it that got you started in your coaching business? What, were you in
Well,
the shower and you're like, I'm going to start a coaching business, or like, what did you do before that?
it kind of, I would say, just ran it just kind of ended up this way. It first started with having a blog and a little podcast. And then, people started wanting to talk to me a lot, like getting advice for this, getting advice for that. And I'm like, man, like maybe I should like start charging people for this. You know what I mean? So it just kind of happened naturally. At first, I definitely had doubts. I'm like, no one's going to take me seriously. I'm too young, or, I'm not good enough to do something like this, or, maybe something that was even a stepping stone for me to overcome was that I I can't make a living off of doing what I love. And so I definitely had to overcome all of those mental obstacles to realize that I could be a coach, and I have been my whole life. And I'm just stepping into this space to do it professionally and make a very nice living out of it. So I think for me personally, when I was in middle school and high school, I actually became very, very depressed over not knowing what my purpose in life was, because I knew that I didn't want to be a person working 9 to 5, and I knew that I wanted to have my own business, but I just didn't know what I like what I wanted to do. I tried playing tennis, I tried, making medicines, I tried just a lot of things, but nothing like really stuck. And so for a long time, I was really sad, and like to a point, I would even say suicidal, that I didn't know what my purpose was. And so what's so interesting is that feeling of being suicidal is what gave me a purpose. So if you don't know what your purpose is, just have faith that it will unfold for you in the perfect way. And understand that you 100% do have a purpose. I believe that every single person on earth has a purpose. And our mission should be to figure out what that purpose is and master it so that we can do our best job to help people in whatever that purpose is.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing that. And what are 3 words that describe you?
I would say compassionate, loving, which I guess is kind of the same thing, and happy.
That's beautiful. Tell us a little bit about your programs. What is it that you offer?
Well, right now I have my podcast and coaching services. I do plan on launching some courses and releasing some books in the future. Mm-hmm. And I'm just taking it one step at a time.
Awesome. What specifically, like if somebody comes to you and they say, okay, I want to work with you, how do you explain your coaching services? Maybe somebody listening is interested in working with you.
Yeah, I'm a very action-based styled coach. And I see my clients as they are to their fullest potential. And I help them bring that out. To my coaching style, I would describe it as a partner, a thinking partner, to help you figure out your own problems in a way that empowers you and makes you excited about life.
That's beautiful. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And how do you want to be remembered when you take your last breath?
I want to be remembered as someone who lived their life to the fullest, who was not scared to do anything, who overcame any obstacle that came my way relentlessly. Someone who really, really gave her all.
That's beautiful. And what would you say to somebody right now that's listening that's having suicidal thoughts? What's one piece of advice that you would give to them? What is one action step that they can take to overcome starting today?
So the first thing that I would say to you if you're having suicidal thoughts is, first of all, the fact that you are still here already shows that you are so, so, so strong. And the fact that you're listening to this podcast episode says more than I can even put in words. The fact that you're here and you haven't given up yet only proves that you have a purpose. And the fact that you're here shows that you can overcome anything, that you can take yourself up from the bottom and you are capable. I fully believe that you have potential to do incredible things. There are people out there that you will impact positively. There are friends to be made, experiences to be made. Not all hope is lost, because I have hope for you. I have hope in your future. I think the advice that I would give to that person is to spend time alone. Spend time alone. I mean, friends and family, they can definitely want the best for us. They definitely do. And, they can really mean the best, but sometimes the things that they say could be more harmful than they are helpful. So I recommend spending time connecting with your own self. And if someone's telling you something about you that doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to take that in. You can make your own choices. Decide for yourself what you want for your life. Decide for yourself who you want to be. You're never too late to be who you want to be. But yeah, whatever the reason is that you are in the suicidal state, you are 100% capable of taking yourself out of this. and actually growing from it, becoming stronger because of it. And you will not let this define your life. This will just be one stepping stone to being the person who you're meant to be.
Wow, that was so deep. Thank you so much. Wow. Definitely can feel that. Wow. My one of my last questions for you is, what does happiness from within mean to you?
Yeah, happiness from within to me means well, multiple things. But I think the first thing that comes to my mind is having gratitude for every little thing. And I think that in itself brings happiness from within. Being grateful that when we wake up in the morning, we have another day to live. Being grateful that we have our arms, our legs, our body parts, what we do have, that our heart is working, that there's oxygen to breathe, that there's plants and animals around us. There's always positives to look for. I think happiness from within also to me means giving yourself inner validation, inner self-love, taking care of yourself, because taking care of yourself, something I see commonly in relationships is that people in relationships, they depend on in one way or another sometimes for the other person to bring them happiness in a sense. They think that this person is going to fulfill some kind of void, but happiness from within means filling your own voids. You are a complete person as you are. So I think the last thing that I would like to say is happiness from within is just the essence of life. Life is beautiful. Life is happiness. Life is oxygen. And life is you. So you are happiness from within.
Wow, that is so beautiful. Thank you so much. Are there any last words that you would like to share before we close? Anything that comes to your heart to share with our audience?
Yeah. What's coming to me right now is to say that you are not alone. You are not alone. You have so many people that love you. So many people that love you. And if you believe that there's no one in physical presence that loves you, then know that spiritually there are angels that love you, the plants love you, the earth loves you. You are very, very, very loved.
Wow, that's so beautiful. There's actually one more question that's coming through that I feel I need to ask. So right now, as we all know, we're in the middle of this global epidemic that has completely shifted our planet. And my question to you is this, is how you have personally been dealing with this, but also like helping your clients, and any advice you have for anyone listening to heal themselves.
Yeah, I really actually like this question because it seems to me like a lot of almost everyone I talk to is going through something or another right now and is getting really affected by this. But personally, I've actually been able to grow in every way possible. And the way that I've been able to do that is by not looking in the past, but instead looking forward to the future, almost being a little bit selfish in a sense to focus on me, what's best for me, but then also giving love and support to my friends and my family, showing up for them, showing up for me, believing and having faith that there is 100% light at the end of the tunnel. I've definitely been keeping healthy, eating healthy, taking care of my body by working out, meditating. I enjoy my outdoor activities, gardening, playing with my dog. I enjoy reading, still doing the things that fuel my soul. and to keep striving, pushing forward, and not exactly letting something that, even though it may be as big as a global issue or challenge, not letting that necessarily creep into me, because I have control over what I allow into my body and my space.
Mm. Wow. Actually, I have a few more questions. They're just coming in right now. That's what I love about the doing podcasts. It's, you know, it's not about it having everything figured out. It's going to flow the way it's supposed to flow. So thank you guys for still tuning in. That's so funny. Question is this: did you ever go and did you ever try finding your mom?
Yeah, no, my mom and I have had I know who she is for definitely. Like,
Oh,
she abandoned me, but then she would come back around, and then she would leave again, and it's been this cycle actually where she's come and gone many times now.
mhm.
But I know who she is now. She, um, you know, and I do want to add that because of the cycle where she would come and then leave, it was putting salt in open wounds every time. And at this point in my life, when I know that when it's almost like I don't exactly expect it to happen, but because it's happened so many times, I don't expect it not to happen. I just let it be what it is. And I don't blame her for it because I know that whatever she's going through, she's trying the best that she can at her level of capacity. So, she probably had very valid reasons in her head to do what she did, and that not doesn't exactly make it right, but it helps me empathize with her.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I know that's really, really personal. Wow. Next question for you is: do you feel that you've come to a space that you've been able to forgive your mom?
I feel like it's not 100% there,
Yeah.
but it's like 90 to like 95% there. And the reason why I'm able to feel this way for her is because I realized I realized that, she is my mom. One day we're all going to die, and that's inevitable. But, our spirits live on. But one day our physical bodies are going to die. And in this physical lifetime, I want to be able to cherish the times that I have with her. So even though, we have conflict in the past, I'm choosing to move forward from it. I'm choosing to to just accept her how she is and just forget about the rest, because she is who she is. I am who I am, and I want to live happily with her without letting the past drag on.
Wow. How have you been able to do that? I know there's not like a one way answer, but I'm just curious to know, like,
I
is
think
there anything
it's
you'd like to share with somebody? Like, because
yeah.
they say the relationship with, I mean, it makes sense. The relationship with the mother daughter is one of the deepest that we'll ever have. You know, we were in her stomach for 9 months. That's a pretty deep connection. Just anything in your heart you'd like to share. Anything.
Yeah. Well, to me, what's really coming in is acceptance. Accepting the whole situation instead of trying to resist it,
Mhm.
because we really have no control over what happens to us in our lives. I mean, we control our thoughts, our words, and our actions, but there's just certain things that we just don't control. I God God is really the working magic here. And so accepting what is and what has happened, I think, is probably the biggest or the first thing that people should focus on when it comes to really deep things such as this. You know, Accepting something is, I think, less about the other person, but more about allowing yourself to give yourself peace. And, where you are now, and exactly where you are now in your life, is where you're meant to be. And I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And I believe that reason is to help you grow. So if you can accept that this event, this person has helped you grow, and actually be grateful for that as well, then it takes you from a place of negative energy, resentment, to a place of, wow, that person actually like helped me become the best version of myself. Like I love them for that. And it's a really a strong shift.
Wow. That was so profound. Wow. I want to just congratulate you because I see a beautiful soul in front of me and I'm just like, wow, like you've really been through a lot and you're just an example of a warrior woman. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And you have your whole future ahead of you. So I just really want to applaud you. I see you. I honor your presence.
I
Wow.
appreciate it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm just taking that in. That was like really deep. Wow. Woo! So good. Wow. Okay. Now I'm going to ask this question again. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before we conclude?
What's coming to me is love yourself. Love every bit of yourself. Love the pretty things about you, but also love the things about you that you might not think are so pretty. Like for me, I mean, it hasn't happened in a while, actually. But sometimes I wake up and I feel like not depressed, but really, really unhappy and almost like just don't really exactly have the gist for life. And that hasn't happened in a long time. It actually used to happen more when I was in that toxic relationship that I had talked about earlier. But sometimes that just happens to me. It's just part of who I am, you know? And I used to hate that. I used to be like, what? I love life. I love life so much. Like, why do sometimes I get this way and hate myself for that and resent myself for that? But then I started to realize that it's because of that place in my life, being able to live in that space has actually been one of the greatest teachers to me. And so embracing that side of myself instead of hating that side of myself has been a fundamental shift for me personally. So love every side of yourself, the light and the dark. Become a shadow warrior and really explore the depths of yourself. I think getting to know yourself is the most rewarding thing that you will ever do in this lifetime. So please love yourself.
That goes with the card that pulled earlier. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. So, oh, excuse me. This goes with the card that we pulled earlier. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. So for those of you listening, you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. And to add to that, you are loved. You are loved. You are loved. So where can people find you? We're going to put the links below, but let's invoke them right now.
So my name is Kaelin Vu. You can find me at dearlovelyuniverse.com. You can also find me at Dear Lovely Universe on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest. I have my coaching website being built right now. So by the time this airs, it will probably be ready, actually. You can find me at kaelinvu.com, and that's KAELINVU.com.
That's beautiful. Okay, Lynn, I really want to thank you for being a guest here at Happiness from Within. We honor your presence. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful light. And just wish you a beautiful day. And thank you for all of you listening. Just wish you a wonderful, fabulous day. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Okay, that ends. All right. So what did you think?
Well, I think that you definitely have been, if not the best podcast and host interviewer that I've had. And definitely was able to get like some good juice out of me. But yeah, and I I could definitely feel the sincerity and the deepness that came from this interview. And I could definitely see why and how your podcast is able to touch the hearts of others.
Wow, that really means a lot. Wow, I'm almost gonna cry. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Janet. I'm so happy that we were able to work this out. And I appreciate what you do. I really do.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there's just a lot of deep, profound things that you said that just really related personally to my life. You'll have to find out about my life when you interview me in the future. But it was just really, really profound. I mean, like there's a saying, right? When you coach people, I know you can relate to this because you're a coach. You can only coach the previous version of yourself, right? You're going to attract people that have gone through very similar situations that you have. And I have found that in people that I interview too. I'm just like, man, I needed to hear that message. And then so I know as a ripple effect, my listeners, they're going to hear and what they need to hear.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
I think, having my podcast has been one of the best things I've ever done for myself in my whole life. I have the things that I've learned and been able to share, the people that I've met along the way, and the wisdom that I've gained has honestly just been priceless, And so, and then I think the bonus of it all is being able to share these conversations, but definitely like just the impact that it's had on my life is so profound. And so, yeah, I'm just so grateful that we've been able to connect. It's definitely no coincidence. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
I have just one question. I have a list here I have my students, but I've been putting just a meditation prayer out there because it seems like we're in the flow of like manifestation. So I would just like to add, what is one thing you want to manifest this year before the end of the year, if you want to share? And I'd like to add it to my list to pray for you. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be like a physical thing. It could be like go ahead.
I would love to have a healthy relationship, a partner that we help each other in our life and soul journeys in a healthy way. The perfect partner for me. I would love to have that person in my life.
All right. The soulmate, huh? Yeah. Okay. I love it. Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for asking that and adding it to your list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will catch you soon. And I don't have an exact date of when this is going to air. As I said, it's going to be a while because I still have a lot of other episodes that need to launch. So as I had mentioned before, but I do appreciate your patience.
Yeah, definitely.
And
yeah, we can, it'll be like the same for me. But we can definitely, probably in October is the best time to schedule for our podcast interview. But so I'll follow up with you and send you my schedule. And you can book an appointment at whatever time is best for you, and then we can get you on my podcast.
no problem. No rush. Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful evening. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you. Bye for now.